All right. Uh, Thank you, Lisa, for joining us today on the Spider Success podcast. I'd give you this opportunity right now to introduce yourself and tell us what you do with our students here at the University of Richmond.
Thanks, RT, for having me today. This is a fun way to connect with students that I don't always get to see in person as much as I'd really like to. So,
There you go.
um, so I am Lisa Miles. I've been at the university for 15 years that have gone by pretty quickly. I work in the Student Center for Equity and Inclusion.
Okay.
We're all about trying to understand how we can make this place work for everybody who shows up, no matter what identity, what background, right? No matter how they live their lives, this university should be a place where everyone feels like they have access to everything and they can thrive. And it's hard to do that sometimes, and it's harder for some groups than others. So there is a couple of specific programs that I work with more than others, but we support as a whole center LGBTQ plus population, first generation limited income, and all students of color. So international or national students. So I am the person in charge with supporting first generation college students. And that means for us that their parents or guardians did not get a 4-year degree.
Mhm.
And that means that they are pioneers in their family, right? They're not just
Yeah,
going to
pioneers.
college, right?
There you go. That's a great way to say it.
They go to Richmond, for goodness sakes. Like they're going here where
Yeah.
we are going to challenge the heck out of you in lots of different ways. And that should be some incredible point of pride for everybody who's in that situation. We call our program Spiders Fly. The F is for first gen, and the LI is for limited income, right? So some of our students really come from a background where they didn't have a ton of resources, and the only way they're going to college is through some scholarships, whether that's athletic or it's a full financial aid package, because that's what you need, right, to go to college. And not everybody here is in that boat, right? You come in
Right.
if you have that identity, you're really in a wide mix of people. And so we want to take the strengths of getting yourself to a place like Richmond with either one or both of those identities, that you have, and say, okay, like you have incredible skills and talents if you got yourself here. Like there's already so much going right, you know.
Right.
Um, like I'm always amazed when I talk to students and they filled out their own FAFSA, or they explained it to their parents, who've
Right.
never seen it before, right? And they're figuring out majors and all that stuff without a lot of people in the family to explain that, and give them their own perspective on it. So there's so much going right already. But it also may mean that you come here and you're like, whoa, like I got things
Huh.
I have to figure out. Like no one told me what this is all about, right? And I don't know some of the lingo, and I don't know what an SSIR is, as sophomore scholars and residents. Like we didn't have that, right? I've been
No.
talking to a ton of advisees, and they're like, whoa, college is different. And I didn't know studying was going to be like this. And
Mm.
I'm starting to make friends all over again. And yeah, just because you're on a team doesn't mean that you have found everyone that you want to hang out with while you're here, right? And so, it's how do we plug in some of the academic or social or emotional pieces that help you get kind of grounded while you're here. And in a way, everyone in the center does that with each of our different populations and in some different ways. So we want you to just to have an incredible time here, but that doesn't always just happen, right? And
Right.
so we want you to know where you can come. And for us, that means you can come to Whitehurst, which is, not that far from the gym. We like to say we're, kind of in your neck of the woods. And you can take advantage of our programs and all. But for me and really for everybody here, it's an opt-in kind of thing, right? We're not your coaches. We're not taking attendance at anything we do. You get to decide if it fits into your life, if it's meaningful enough to you, if you're going to get something out of it. And we
Yeah.
try to invite you to everything, but you're already really busy students. We know that.
Right.
So we have
Yeah.
to take really good use of your time. Um,
Absolutely. And you have
and
cool things that they can take advantage of as a as needed basis, as they wanted to add in.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is the goal. We know you can't come to everything that we do,
Right.
but we really do want you to feel connected to the communities that you might identify with. and feel like you know the staff here who can help, maybe from just a different lens, a little bit of a different angle than the folks who are already supporting you in athletics, right?
I see.
So that's kind of what I do over here.
There we go. So you made me think of two questions that is probably pertinent. So first and foremost, programs and events that you would like to highlight. And then if you could do a rundown of the other members of your team, people that are in your office as well. And you don't have to go super deep into their bios, but it'd be great to just have some names and titles and a little bit about what they do as well.
Absolutely, because this team is like so cool. We have so many
Right.
like really new people
Yeah.
with like, such energy and stuff. I want you to connect with everybody. But I'll start with the first part of that, which is some things that I want to highlight. RD and I were talking last spring a little bit about a program that I brought to Richmond called Career Launch. And it is about helping folks find people in their maybe identified field of interest, career field, if they know what that is. And if you don't, how do I start to talk to people who are out doing this thing that I think I want to do? Like,
How
what
we get
is law school? Like, right? Like, everyone says they want to do that, but like, what's it actually like and what does a lawyer do? Or, in lots of other fields. And for the students I work with, they may not feel like they've got a whole lot of people in that family circle who have lots of professional connections who can say like, oh, you're interested in marketing? Let me call my buddy Phil. He's in my fraternity, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, great. I'll talk to Phil. He'll talk to me because you ask him to, right? Well,
right.
not everybody has that, right?
No.
Or maybe just not in the field that you're interested in,
Right.
right? Your parents have tons of connections or your friends and your neighbors, but not where you really need them to be. So this particular program teaches you really what career services teaches you, but teaches you in a really solid, short amount of time.
Mhm.
Dedicated little videos that come to your phone every day with a tip, with a pretty cool workbook that might look backwards on the screen, but work with me. It opens the right way, and all the words go the right direction on the inside. And, that just teaches you like, how do I reach out to people? Who do I reach out to? What would an email say to somebody?
Right.
Like, what would I say to someone? I just want information. I don't need you to give me an internship, but what's it like what you do, right? Sometimes you have those good conversations and it leads to internship,
Yeah, it leads down there.
opportunities or ideas or careers or, well, I think you ought to talk to my friend because now you got a contact and they're like,
Right.
I think this person in my area was hiring. Let me go, sometimes it moves in that direction, but this teaches you how to do it really step by step. And
Uh,
so we will definitely offer it in the summer again. We did it right kind of in the beginning of June, where, you know, we literally met as a group once a week at night for 45 minutes. And then you
okay.
had a little homework and a little practice to do. And you got those daily little little videos to your phone, like 10 minutes or less. And then you practiced a little and you came back and you got this little coaching with with the whole group. The next we did on like a Monday night. So if you have a job or you're doing something else, you could set aside a little time. And it was amazing watching that first cohort go through this. And they were like, I
Great.
had like, rising sophomores. They were like, I don't know if I know what I want to do. And they were reaching out to like department heads and stuff. They figured out, we helped them figure out who to reach out to. And
Yeah.
I love this one story where one student is like, okay, she's talking to this person, they're having a Zoom conversation. And the woman's like, yeah, I've got a meeting in half an hour, but we can talk for half an hour. And that half an hour got so interesting between the two of them and what they were interested in. She canceled their next meeting and they talked. And she didn't even know this woman before she started this.
Right.
But we set her up with what are the questions to ask, and right, how do you find them? How do you do it? And then how do you follow up and say thank you? We teach you all that stuff, right? And of course, it's all free because what we do at Richmond doesn't cost you anything. It's just
Right. Yeah.
signing
On
up,
campus
right?
resources, man.
You got to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah,
Because someone's paying your tuition to take advantage of this whole bucket of things. And if
exactly.
you feel like I don't know where to get started in my career, like that's something. And I'll offer it to my students, but it'll be offered to the campus. If you really feel like, hey, like I need to figure out how to talk to people, well, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's very incredible. And what's the size of the cohort?
Yeah, so we did it with like 15 students,
Okay.
at a time talking to that coach. It was really manageable. You know, she gets to check in with everybody and say, like, how was your week? Did you talk to anybody this week? What do you need from us? You know, and moving forward. So we're debating doing it in January this year, like maybe starting a little bit over break, you know, when people
Yeah.
are really a little bit bored, and then, well, not all athletes are bored in January, but you know, if you're not taking classes, and then maybe, you know, letting it spill over into the next couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
when
that sounds
hopefully the
cool.
homework gets super heavy. So we'll let y'all know if we do that, and RD will get the word out.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'll spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now the rest of your team.
Ah, my team's so good. My team's so good. So we have Dr. Morgan Russell, who is our director. She's like young and vibrant. She's also the dean of equity and inclusion for students.
Okay.
So this is a really important person to know, right?
Mhm.
If you feel like, you know, your identity is more defined from a vision of diversity and difference, especially as you look at this predominantly white institution, right? Like, or majority straight or majority, you know, well off, right? If you're in one of those categories where you feel like I'm not quite like everybody else,
Mhm.
right? Then, you know, then she's the dean of equity and inclusion and can be a really good resource for you. She's also just a ton of fun. And then we have one of our associate directors, Casey Butler. Casey uses they, them pronouns, is in charge of the whole LGBTQ plus campus life. Um,
Nice.
their program works with me and one of my other programs. We just had this awesome drag night on campus on Saturday. I hope some of you could come. You know, we bring amazing drag performers from downtown Richmond. So these are
Okay.
professionals. Usually people are seeing the very first drag show they've ever seen before. They're whooping and hollering in the pier last Friday night. So doing fun stuff, you know, but also important community building. We have Danny Doe Roberts, who supports our Asian identified students, right?
Okay.
And also oversees all of the multicultural student programming. We have Daphne Luna, who's supporting all our Latinx students, right? So she's assistant director for Latinx programming. And we just came out of Latinx Heritage Month,
Yeah.
where like she went on so much stuff that was going on. I hope you could see some of that, including like our first mixer just for Latinx students and faculty staff. It was just like this time where the music and the food and the space and the decorations all just felt like their heritage was really showing up, and it was
That's
really,
really
really
cool.
nice. And we're about to hire an assistant director for Black and academic and African American student support. And that's exciting because that's essentially Dr. Russell's position, but she got promoted to the director
Yeah.
of the
Okay.
Office of the
Okay.
Dean. So we have to kind of backfill someone who will specifically support our Black and African American students. So it is a fun team. There's more programming going on in this office and
Sounds like it. Sounds really cool.
stuff to go to. So we're easy to find and easy to make appointments with, and you can always stop in and get to know any
Yeah.
of us.
Like you
We like
said, y'all are athletic adjacent right there with the
athletic adjacent.
Whitehurst. Yeah.
Whitehurst. Second floor, just come on up and, you know, Suite 210, we're really what's up here. We've also got like an amazing LGBTQ lounge. You can swipe into at any point. If you need just a different quiet, steady space, you just kind
Yeah.
of want to hang out, and also a great multicultural space on the first floor of our building. That's really why we're here, because we want to have this space that feels like we're supporting students in all these different ways. So there are events that happen in the space, but you can also just swipe in. And, you know, we don't have any identity cards. Are you multicultural? You can't go in the space. Or are you sure you're queer enough to go in that? Everyone's welcome. You just have, you know, everyone's welcome, but there's spaces designed to make certain people feel completely comfortable, right?
Right.
Right. So that's,
I
you know,
turned
yeah, your lights turned off, but
up.
I like the waving. That was good.
I
But
thought it would
anyway, so
work.
there's a lot of stuff for people over here if you'd like to come check us
Yeah.
out. We'd
There
love
you
to see
go.
y'all very much.
Absolutely. I think you guys have a lot going on that our student athletes can be engaged in. Um, yeah, this was outstanding. This is a lot of information. Thank you.
Hopefully not too much, but hopefully enough to get you kind of excited and curious and feeling like there's
Yeah. Yeah, I really
fun stuff to
appreciate
do. There's thoughtful stuff to do. There's, you know, ways to
absolutely.
kind of explore who you are through affinity groups or whatnot, or just, you know, be in community with people who share maybe a part of your identity with you. Uh,
Absolutely.
you know, maybe separate from your athletic identity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think college is a place to go to explore all of those different avenues, right? So
absolutely.
this is a really great information. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, and let's talk more about how I can come over and actually meet more people in person, because that's
Absolutely.
what we need to
We
be
need
doing.
to have you over here so you can
Yeah,
get out and physically meet people one-on-one.
We would all love that. So,
That's
you know,
awesome.
the offer's there. Okay.
There we go. I'll have you. So thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate everything that you've done thus far, and I can't wait to continue to collaborate in the future.
That sounds great, RD. Such a pleasure to see you. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Go Spiders.
Go Spiders.